Why is it that Bitcoin goes up and down and in value? Well, it's because, well, there's a number of reasons for this, but Bitcoin itself doesn't change. It's the same 21 million coin units that have been since the beginning. None of that's changed. There's still 21 million Bitcoin units. There's still 2.1 quadrillion Satoshis. That's it. These things don't actually move. Now, the dollar amount that you see changing all the time, that's because the system that we currently have, that is a banker-owned, corporate-owned system, right? These people need to keep their dollar and their dollar currency relevant. See, remember, currencies die very quickly if it isn't moving. It has to be moving. This is why, of course, this is also why they give away money to illegals. This is why they give away money to people, this is why they do this. They do lending and what have you. They even do deals that they know won't make any money. They have to keep money moving. That's required to do that, to give it relevance. Once it stops moving, rule of thumb, it dies. This is one of the reasons why, for example, in the case of Bitcoin, just as a side note, Bitcoin is a currency. It is not some vague asset. It's designed and intended to replace the United States dollar and all other fiat currencies and run them out of existence, right? That's what Bitcoin is designed to do. It's intended to do that, actually. That is a feature, not a bug. So because of this idea of trying to keep their currency relevant, people who oftentimes will buy Bitcoin, right? They'll convert their chicken shit US garbage dollars for Bitcoin. But then they have to pay a bill. And of course, those companies are all owned by the bankers. The bankers don't want Bitcoin. The bankers want their dollars because they control the dollars. So they have to keep it relevant. They have to keep it moving. So that's why, so people will end up having to sell some of their Bitcoin. You also have the speculators involved. So, and these are people that are just trying to make dollars. They don't really care about the idea behind Bitcoin. They don't care about that. What they care about, okay, is the idea of just making a few bucks, right? And by the way, for the record, I have met really nobody who's actually ever made any money doing a bunch of trading of Bitcoin. I've never met anybody who's actually really made any real money on that. There is no actual system involved. Every system, for anybody who's ever done any day trading, I've done it before in my past, I don't do it any longer. For anybody who's ever traded commodities, I've done all that. Anybody who's ever written options, bought options, sold out, you name it, all that stuff, I've done all of it. And most of the guys who do it, they have a system that works until it doesn't. And then all of a sudden, any gains they had, a lot of them just end up going away. And it turns into just more or less kind of gambling. You have basically about the same odds that you do if you went to a craps table or a roulette table or a blackjack table. So, or a blackjack table, better yet, with no table limits. Then the odds are back kind of in your favor somewhat-ish. Anyway, so that's what you're seeing. You're seeing Bitcoin do this sort of up and down with the dollar, but remember, Bitcoin didn't change. None of Bitcoin changed. It's the same protocol, same number of coins, same number of coin units. Doesn't make any difference. Hasn't budged. So that's something to take into account. Think of it like this. You're standing still, right? Everything else is moving. But as soon as you jump on one of the things that's moving, it feels like you're standing still again, and everything else is moving. That's kind of the way to think of it. So Bitcoin is a grounded currency. It is, no question. It doesn't budge, and everything else is moving against it. And that's what you're seeing. Now, just a quick side note to tie this off. If people started using Bitcoin as a currency, right, it comes alive, and the value of Bitcoin, all of a sudden, the value of Bitcoin in terms of its actual spendable, usable traits, right, and the fact that you can't con people, right? You can't con the working class. You can't screw over all those people who work at your restaurant or at your company or something. You can't screw them over anymore because you're paying them in something that you can't then just conjure out of nothing, which means that the bankers, of course, the people that run all this, and again, these are the same people that have been doing this for 1,000 years. Same people, okay? I don't mean the same guys, okay? This is nothing spiritual here. I'm talking about, it's the same basic mentality passed down from generation to generation to generation of people who understand how money and interest rates work and how to effectively enslave people to their bullshit, to their nonsense currency. And people fall for it all the time because it's the illusion of easy money. It's the illusion of easy wealth. It's the illusion of being able to borrow your way into prosperity. I've been over this. I have an entire channel devoted to explaining this scam. The whole thing is a con. And I've been saying this for coming up on 3 decades now that I've been trying to explain this. And it is no question, it's a very sophisticated con. It really is, and it fools a lot of people. And they have a lot of people in their employ, let me tell you. That's how the system works. Anytime you see one of those gurus who talks about buying a fourplex for $5,000 down that he bought for $100,000, you know who I'm talking about, right? Anytime you see those gurus like that, those are shills. Those guys are, of course the bank will do their deals, right? They're shills. It's like imagine going to a casino and everybody's losing all the time. Well, who wants to go there? No one's going to go there. No one's going to go to a casino where everybody's losing all the time. No. You have to give the illusion of some people that are winning. That's why you'll see these kinds of things. That's why whenever you see, for example, if I lived in Vegas years ago, you'll see like in some casinos, right? They'll have these big pictures of these big posters of the guy who won. He won like $9 million. Oh my God, it's awesome. Yeah, they use that as a tool. It's propaganda to get more people in the door to continue gambling who are not going to win $9 million. Remember, all those giant multi-billion-dollar casinos that are being built, those aren't built with winners' donations. Those are built with losers' money, right? Like that's what pays for all that shit. So that's how the system works. If you were to actually, if people were actually to switch over to a hard currency, such as Bitcoin or gold dust, I don't care what you pick a hard currency and just stick with it. But if they did something like that, then it becomes very difficult to screw the little guy. And the little guy gets all the power. Anybody who does all the work, who's willing to do all the bullshit work that nobody else wants